So today I'm going to talk about how does Envision's portfolio defense interrupt educational inequity. So we do project-based learning at Envision. It culminates into a portfolio defense where our students have to defend their learning. I'm really appreciative that BIE is focusing on equity this year. And so before we get into what portfolio defense is at Envision, I wanted to start with telling you a little bit about myself, because when we do equity work, it's all about being in relationship. Students need to be in relationship with each other, with their teachers, and teachers need to be in relationship with each other, because the work is really hard. It's not technical where you do things and you get to equitable results. It's about being in relationship and helping each other through very, very adaptive challenges. So this is a little picture of me. I am originally from Vietnam. I left Vietnam when I was 7 and arrived in the United States when I was almost 8. This is a picture of me in a refugee camp in Malaysia, where I spent about a year. And I want to start with that first, because usually when people look at me, especially because of where my position, the way I speak, etc., they don't see this part of me. And that's really, really important when we're thinking about equity. And I want to tell you a little story that shaped my life and the reason why I'm here with you today. The story is, when I was in the refugee camp, they had English classes on the beach for anyone going to the United States who wanted to learn English. I have 3 brothers, 1 older, 2 younger. They didn't want to learn English. They just wanted to play on the beach. For some reason, I really wanted to learn, and I don't know where that comes from, but I sat on the beach and I learned English. I remember coconuts, pineapples, really important tropical fruits. And then I also learned a phrase called, "May I have a cup of tea?" Not can I, but may I. And I didn't understand why at that point until later. I learned, and then when we came to the United States, we were sponsored by a family in Miami, Florida. And we had to take a flight to New York, and then wait in New York for a night, and then take a flight to Miami to meet our sponsor family. In New York, our translator said to us, "Stay here at the hotel, we'll pick you up in the morning, go on your second flight." We stayed at the hotel, but we were really hungry. We weren't used to the food at the airport or the flight, and my parents turned to my 3 brothers and I and said, "Can you get us some food? We're really hungry." And my brothers were like, "We didn't go to the beach to learn English." And I said to them, "I think I can do it." It was my first defense. I said, "I think I can do it." So imagine me looking like this, longer hair, because this is a year old from that hotel, walking down a hallway. My 3 brothers are behind me. My parents are behind me. We're walking down, and I see a bellhop, an African-American young man, and I looked up at him, and I said, "May I have a cup of tea?" And he understood. He brought us to the staff kitchen, and I remember looking at these double-door chrome refrigerator doors. You know those kinds, right? And he opened it and the light came on. It was like, wow, heaven. Because I learned English, I was able to feed my family. I realized that education is transformative. That's when I wanted to be a teacher. And I realized that from now on, moving forward, I would have a different identity. I became an adult that day. And I became to be able to really support my family. At Envision, these are our beliefs around equity. So the first belief is that we believe that inequity in education arises from institutional racism, classism, language bias, and other forms of systemic bias. We believe that if we don't interrupt the system, it's going to perpetuate the same results for kids. We believe that educational equity is achievable, and that achievement gaps based on race, class, language, and other social difference can be eliminated in excellent schools. In my belief, excellent schools are project-based learning schools. We believe that we can only achieve educational equity through taking a collaborative learning stance. We don't have it figured out. Nobody does. And we learn together, we adapt, we work together to interrupt inequity. And we believe that when we graduate students from Envision schools, they should be academically competitive and not just academically competitive, but they need to have a strong sense of self and their connection to the world. I actually didn't get this in my K-12 experience. I got this in my college experience when I took classes in ethnic studies. At that time, there was no major. I minored in ethnic studies. When I discovered who I am as an immigrant, a refugee, a person of color, a woman, etc. So to share a little bit about our defense system, I want to share with you who our students are. 70% of them qualify for free and reduced lunch. 80% are African American and Latino. 80%, 4 out of 5, will be first in their family to graduate from college. The average reading level of our students is a 6th grade entering high school. Average math level is 5% of them are ready for algebra. After Envision, they enter college and they graduate from college. So educational equity is achievable. What we do in terms of our model to get them there, to interrupt the cycle of inequity, is our portfolio and defense system. It's a defense system that really demonstrates their readiness to advance. So our 10th graders have to demonstrate their readiness to advance to upper division, and our 12th graders have to demonstrate their readiness to advance to college and beyond. And they do this publicly. They put together proficient work that's college ready, with rubrics that were designed by Stanford for us, and then they have to actually defend it publicly. They have to defend that they know academic content. They have to defend that they have mastered these core competencies. Our core competencies are analysis, inquiry, research, and creative expression. Those are competencies that you need for college. And they have to also defend that they are proficient in 21st century skills. The 4 C's, our 4 C's are critical thinking, collaboration, communicating, and completing projects effectively. So they have to do all of this, and it's probably the hardest things our students would ever have to do in their K-12 experience and sometimes beyond. This process helps them develop agency. It helps them acquire the skills and tools they need to succeed. It helps them engage in relevant work, and it helps develop their strong sense of self. I want to go back to that strong sense of self. When you are defending that you're ready, it's not like you're taking a test and you pass and all of a sudden you just feel ready. You're actually having to defend it. So our students defend with a panel, and that panel asks them questions each time they defend an artifact, and they have to answer on the fly. And after they pass, there's just a sense of accomplishment, and they're not just proving to the panel that they're ready. The true test is they have to prove to themselves that they're ready. So a third of our students actually do not pass the first time they defend. Some have to defend twice, sometimes 3 times, and sometimes more. And those are the lucky ones. Because they get to fail in a very supportive environment, do it again. And most of our students, like I said, 4 out of 5 of our students are first gen. And the data with first generation college-bound students is when they fail in college, they don't think they belong. Folks don't look like them, they don't have the resources, they drop out. Our students fail in college and said, wait a minute, I've done this before. I'm going to pick myself up and I'm going to do it again. So our portfolio defense is our tip of the iceberg. Underneath that, the project-based learning that has led them to that portfolio defense. The strong relationships that they have with each other, because we are an equity-focused organization. We believe in knowing each child well, and the college goal and culture. And that's particularly important to us because we, again, 4 out of 5 of our students have not had family who attended college and therefore don't expect them to. And these are our results. In California, you have to meet A through G requirements to be able to qualify for our UC and CSU system. 100% of our students do. Our college going rate is over 90%. Our acceptance rate this year is close to 80%, and our persistence is 90%. We also, at Envision, we have 3 schools. One actually will be 6-12. The other are 2 high schools, and then we have a consulting division, Envision Learning Partners. And we want to impact more students. And they work with educators and schools all over the nation. Okay? So if you go to my deep dive, you'll see a clip of a student defense. I am selling my deep dive, by the way. This is me. And remember, Bob was saying that PBL is transformative. I definitely believe PBL is transformative, especially if it's equity focused and it's about the students and the discovery of who they are and how they're connected to the world. Who they are in terms of being low income, people of color, first gen, English learners, etc. So how is it transformative? I wouldn't be here with you today. And my children actually have a very, very different opportunities than I did. Here's my daughter. She really does want to be a race car driver. She's going to grow up so differently. But if we just think of equity as social mobility, I was in poor working class family. Now I'm in the middle class. That is not equity. That's social mobility. Equity is when young people who have been underserved feel empowered to change and become change agents. That's when you get equity. So at Envision, we don't believe that we're going to change the world. We believe we're going to develop and strengthen young people who are going to change the world. Because they are our next generation. This year, I'm very proud to say we graduated 300 seniors. 4 out of 5 of them will be going to four-year colleges, and 4 out of 5 are first gen. I wanted to emphasize the importance of PBL, really quality PBL that leads to a defense. So it's just not a defense for defense sake, but really defending authentic, relevant work that you're really proud of, tell you who you are, and to be really, really conscious that when we're talking and supporting those that have been underserved, it is about making sure that they feel empowered. Not that we feel empowered, but they feel empowered. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks.